My name is Ryan and I'm in recovery. I'm still just working through comments on my recent videos, doing a few video replies. This question is, what do you do when you are journaling, if you don't mind me asking? I don't mind you asking. Look at my barnet, it is erect. I do not mind you asking what I do when I journal. It's a good question. I hadn't done any journaling really until I went to rehab, and it was actually part of our daily routine. Rehab was very structured days. You'd always be woken up at like 6 a.m, have a cup of coffee, do some like meditation and journaling before doing like starting your kind of breakfast, and then going into your like kind of rehab therapy sessions and stuff like that. But yeah, we'd always have like a allocation of, I can't remember what it was, maybe like 20 minutes was allocated to journaling every day. So I got really into it, keeping a daily journal. And it can be anything you want really. For me, what I found with journaling is it's almost just, if there's something on my mind, it's good to just write it down. I don't know about anyone else, but for me, if I write something down, it almost like declutters it in my brain. If I've got something that's bothering me or irritating me or whatever it could be, I put it down on paper. A good example, you can almost treat it like therapy in a way. A good example is, while I was in rehab, my main addiction therapist, did this thing, which I think all the clients did it. We basically get honesty letters or damage letters. My therapist called them honesty letters. Some of the counsellors and therapists called them damage letters. But essentially what it is you get your loved ones, to people close to you that have been affected by your addiction, to write you a letter talking about the damage that you've done to them and what hurt you've caused them. And they're encouraged to be like, as brutal as possible, because it's a process to kind of show you how your addiction affects the people around you. So, yeah, what then happens is, so Amy wrote one, for example. She wrote one, and then my therapist read it out to me in a therapy session. And when she read it out to me, I was actually kind of on a bit of a crest of a wave, and I was maybe halfway through my rehab, and I was really getting lots out of it. I feel like I was making all these like breakthroughs and having these realizations through therapy and different things, and I was kind of like buzzing on it. And then the honesty letter really knocked me for six. Amy spoke very candidly about what she'd been through, how much my addiction had taken from her and the effect it had. And I was devastated by it. It was really heartbroken to hear the letter. You can kind of almost square off and accept the damage you do to yourself by your addiction. A lot of the time it's because your self-worth is so low anyway that you kind of think that that's all you're worthy of. But to hear that people you love and care about have been hurt so badly, I mean, it anyway, but to hear it in plain terms in a letter read to me by my therapist was really hard to take, and I was really upset by it. And my initial reaction was almost like, I was like annoyed at Amy, because I was like, oh, she's ruined my head. It's all messed up now. And and that night I ended up writing like 10 pages in my journal about it, just getting my annoyance out on paper. And then the following morning I journaled again, and I noticed about the same subject, and I noticed that my anger had subsided a bit, and I was kind of a bit more at ease with it, and journaled. And then I journaled that afternoon, or maybe early evening or whatever. And by that point, I'd almost kind of been like, do you know what? It's a good thing that Amy's done this. I need to be aware of the impact my addiction has on other people. And that's kind of a good example for me for like almost journaling through the process. I felt like by writing it down, like I was able to read it back and see how my first entry into my journal was like kind of angry and defensive and that kind of stuff. And it ended, and I kind of went through that and came out the other side and accepted it, and kind of accepted that it was a good thing. And journaling really helped me get there, maybe quicker than if I'd just been kind of stewing on it. I use journaling for things like that a lot, and it's really helpful. There's obviously other stuff that a lot of people talk about, which is like, just 5 things you're grateful for. every day. You tend to start by just saying things like, "I'm grateful for my girlfriend," but the more you do it, the more you start to kind of put more just more subtle, small things, like I'm grateful that I can take my dog to the beach, or I don't know, whatever. But they're quite nice. It always kind of, sometimes if you're feeling a bit low, it can kind of give you a little boost or put things in perspective. Positive affirmations. But for me, it's almost more just kind of getting anything that's weighing on my mind out on paper and putting it in order. I also, if I've ever got any little ideas for work or anything like that, I tend to journal about them as well. Just writing and writing and writing. It's really therapeutic. I find so anyway.